Greetings, happy Tuesday, and welcome to the Plastered Dragon, and this week's episode of Something Wicked This Way Comes. Greetings, happy Tuesday, and welcome to the Plastered Dragon. I unmuted myself, but I left the tab unmuted as well, so we had a brief moment of feedback there. It's gone. As I was saying, we have a great show for you tonight. We're going to get some questions answered that I'm sure have been weighing on all of you over this past week. Some fairly dark and heavy things happened in last episode, and we'll get to those in just a second. But first, a couple quick announcements. Tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time is Fiasco Dragon Slayer. It is our first fantasy-themed Fiasco, and Zuki and I were able to sit in and watch the player picks. Zuki is going to be hosting it, Cali Dragon, and I'm her backup for the show, so we were able to just watch them create the bones of the story you're going to see tomorrow, and it is a horrible train wreck already. It's going to be fantastic. You don't want to miss it. Then on Saturday, we have a special edition of Drunken Dread, where someone else will be sitting in the Drinks Master's chair because our dear drunk dragon is going to be out of town. He's actually out of town right now, but due to his commitment to this show, he and Cali Dragon raced from the airport where they landed 50 minutes ago, and they got to a location with enough bandwidth for them to stream. So, good job, you guys. Now, let's get down to it. When we last left our heroes, they had gone to the Plastered Dragon to meet with the Court of Shadows in the hopes of getting some more information about what was going on in the world. They were trying to understand what had been happening, and they felt like they had run out of answers, and this was the only avenue left open to them. Reginald also was looking to get some answers about the friend of his whose soul the Court of Shadows stole way back in episode 1. Unfortunately, what they wanted for their information was the soul of a freshly killed animal. Reg was willing to do this, but Zuki was somehow not on board. And through her objections, they found another way. The Court of Shadows was also willing to accept a pint of innocent blood, and they said that there was no more innocent blood in this room than that of dear Zephyr. Zephyr voluntarily gave up the blood over the rest of the party's objections. And wouldn't you know it, the Court of Shadows had hospital-grade blood collection equipment right outside in their car. Weird, right? Yeah, those guys are creepy. They collected the blood, cast some kind of ritual sealing the innocents into it, and then gave the party what information they had. The information that turned out to be the most helpful was the fact that while they were checking people off of the list from the Plastered Dragon the night of the explosion, they had forgotten to account for the priests. And the priests happened to be at a Catholic church not too far away, so they decided that they were going to head over there and go and check it out. As they were leaving, Reg, out of the corner of his eye, caught a familiar figure from his past. He chased after this person into the alleyway and into an abandoned warehouse not far away. Zuki saw him running and tried to catch up. She was unable to before the door slammed closed, and after a couple of attempts of opening the door, she decided to wild shape herself into a roach and go underneath, as she does. She didn't see anything unusual in the room. However, Reg saw his husband murdered before his eyes by a figure from his past that is still unrevealed, and he was told that they had his son and he would be indoctrinated into the organization. Zuki realized through a search of the room that another one of the weird demonic misshapen creatures was hiding in the rafters and was most likely messing with Reginald's mind. She got him to target it and shoot it, though he thought he was shooting at something else, and when it died, the images faded. But the impact that they left was lasting and nearly fractured the group. After some discussion and some argument and some tough love, they decided to all head back to Reginald's apartment together and go to the church in the morning. They went to the church, found it was closed for renovations, which is an odd thing for a church. Churches aren't normally closed for renovations. They broke in and started snooping around. In the basement of the church, they found empty conference rooms, classrooms, that sort of thing, with flickering lights. They went up the back stairs to the sacristy. Is that right, Firehawk? The sacristy? They went upstairs to the sacristy and looked in the sacristy, and inside the sacristy was the Jesus closet where the priest's robe hang. I believe that was the correct term. And there were no robes there. Zuki's rat, Scritch, was freaking out, but they decided to head into the church anyway, and Keel poked his head in, and as soon as he opened the door, the stench of death washed over them, where they found 3 priests, all skinned alive and all spiked out in various gruesome positions in the church. One on the altar, one on the crucifix hanging above the altar, and one lashed to a pole and in the position looking like he was giving a sermon. And that is where we last left our heroes. So, as the shock and stench wash over you, who is first to react?
Keel was the first one through the door.
And I don't believe you let anyone else in the door yet.
Not just yet.
Reggie looked outside of the door.
From within the sacristy?
Yes, he did.
Okay, I'm just checking.
Well, what's in the door?
Holy shit. Reggie, come take a look real quick.
Yes, of course. Zuki, everyone, please stay here. Just for a minute. If it's something you need to see, I will, of course, let you. Please, just give me a minute. And I walk out the door and take a look around. I saw a little bit of that scene. Can I do an investigation check to see if I spot anything odd other than dead priests?
Sure, you can absolutely do an investigation check. We can't hear you.
I was rolling the dice. I can't walk and chew gum at the same time.
That's unfortunate.
That is a 20, but not nat.
Okay, you start exploring the area, looking around the room to see what is going on. And the first thing that you notice is that there are no pools of blood under any of the priests, which suggests that they were drained of blood before they were skinned. And on the floor, beneath the crucifix, and the priest there are 3 symbols painted in blood.
Do I recognize the symbols?
You recognize the style of the symbols, but you do not recognize the symbols themselves specifically. They may be either identical to or definitely similar to the ones that are tattooed on the backs of the necks of the various cultists you have met.
Holy shit. Keel, get over here and look at these symbols.
Keel heads over, just grossed out by the bodies that he's seeing. But focuses on the runes. Are they... So we can tell that they're very, very similar to the ones that are constantly flipping through the phone and everything else?
Yes, they are.
Okay. And have we seen them before?
You're not sure if you've seen these specific ones or if the ones that you saw were similar.
Okay.
You could pull out the phone and try and watch the cycle again and see if any of them come up.
Keel, can I hand you the phone and I can go speak to the rest of the group for one second, please? I want to go inside the room where everyone is, and
the sacristy?
Yes, the sacristy and the Jesus closet. And I want to say, Nicholas, you deal with death as part of your work. What's beyond this door is dark and horrible. Keel and Zuki, Keel's in there. Zephyr, Zuki, you can make the choice to walk out this door, but I'm afraid a bit of your innocence will die in the process. I don't know how many dead bodies you've seen in the past, but This is bad. It's awful, and a part of me wants to keep you from this, but it's not my decision to make.
Well, is there any way we can be helping in there?
Well, I know I might possibly be, so let me go ahead and get in there.
I don't think so. It is a grisly scene. How about this? Trust me enough, trust Keel and Nicholas enough, that if we feel that you can assist, we will call you in based on our judgments.
I glance over at Zuki and kind of see what her thoughts are on the matter.
I think if we're in this as equals and we're not looking to be parented, then we have just as much of an obligation as the rest to go in, because we may see something that you don't see. We may notice something that you didn't notice. You would have never found the necklace if I hadn't found it.
Zuki, dark images like this stay with you. They leave an imprint on who you are and your soul. I'm not trying to parent you.
How about we look at it this way? For sure, a crime scene. Let's consider the less we mess it up, the less we implicate ourselves.
It's always your decision to make. I'm just throwing in my 2 cents. That's all.
Is there something that I might be able to smell that could help us to find these people if, for example, I wild shaped? Because I could get keener senses through wild shape.
You could certainly try.
Always a possibility.
All right, well then perhaps that's a better way to handle it. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna wild shape into rat, but before I do that, I'm gonna kind of do the same thing that I did with the collapsed building before. I'm going to cast Speak with Animals, and I'm going to talk to Scritch.
Okay.
So that both Scritch and I can go in and kind of investigate the area by smell and see if we can perceive anything or see anything by being down on that level that they might not see or smell.
Okay.
All right.
So you do a speak with animals and then you wild shape?
Yes. And I go into the room. I don't go into the room until I've wild shaped, and then I go in as a rat.
And then you go in as a rat. Excellent. Okay, I've realized that I have left my dice, so I just need to, they're still in the other room, I just need to bring up Discord on my phone so that I can roll some dice as I need to. Okay, so Zuki and Scritch go in rat form. Give me perception checks at advantage.
All right. Perception for Zuki first is 25.
Okay.
Teens. And then perception for Scritch. I have to remember what his perception is. Oh, wow. I rolled an 18 and an 8. So his is an 18. Because I don't think. Yeah.
Okay.
If his wisdom is +0, then his perception is +0, correct?
Right. It's just he has
Okay.
advantage.
So yeah, it was an 18.
He has advantage because of his sense of smell. That's the difference there.
Right.
So okay.
Okay.
Zuki and Scritch start scurrying around the floor, looking under and around the altar. And Zuki, you spy a couple of little crumbs under the altar, and everything is pretty meticulously cleaned. And so the fact that you're finding these 2 little crumbs and you sniff at them and they smell like some kind of incense, you think. And I mean, you don't know much about Catholicism, but you don't think it's something that belongs here. It has less of a sweet smell and more of an earthy smell.
Okay.
And who else is looking around and for what?
I'm going to run in or go in and inspect the bodies themselves. Any identifying marks,
Sure.
types of injuries.
Go ahead and give me a medicine check.
Zephyr, being the only one in this room, has decided that he's going to man up and enter the room as well.
Zephyr leaving the sacristy.
All right, that's a 22.
20 total. By the way, if it seems like I'm saying sacristy a lot, it's because Fire was wondering how many times I could say it. And so we're testing the theory. So 20 total, you examine the bodies, and it looks like they were choked to death. So they were strangled. It's hard to tell whether they were drained of blood before or after they were dead, because there's no skin for you to find a lot of like normally you'd look for ligature marks and things like that on the skin, but there's no skin, so you're looking at the damage to the muscle tissue around the neck area and the windpipe and things like that, and saying, these necks were crushed, but I can't tell how the blood was drained or when.
Were the necks crushed to hide puncture marks from like a vampire?
You
don't see any puncture marks.
You don't see puncture marks on the veins in the neck.
Is the skin look like it was peeled, torn, cut?
Surgically peeled. It looks like it was peeled very precisely and carefully. And it looks like the blood was drained from veins in the feet and legs. You can see like slash marks down on the lower body.
Okay.
And Zuki, you and Scritch are noticing that for what looks like it should be several-day-old bodies, for some reason the blood on the ground is still wet.
Would I know any reason for that? Or that's probably something I have to convey to them that they may know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Zephyr, what are you looking for when you come in, other than trying to hold your lunch down?
I actually rolled a Constitution save to see what my reaction would be, and after a nat 20,
ooh, you did
I'm
man
seeing
up.
this more as analytical more than I am as emotional, and so it doesn't seem to be affecting me much. I see the bodies and I see their placement, and I'm actually taking a look kind of around the outside to see if there's any tracks, or not that I have any skill in that other than see any bloody footprints, if see anything out of place kind of along the edges and stuff.
Okay, go ahead, give me a survival check.
14 plus 3, that'll be a 17.
You're looking around, and it looks to you like whoever was here did a really good job of covering their tracks. The carpet that leads down the center aisle between the pews. See, I knew the word pew, Fire. It looks like it was vacuumed from the altar side back. Someone was pulling a vacuum to make the carpet smooth behind them.
Now, is this a carpet that can be rolled up or moved at all?
You can try.
Does it look as if it's been disturbed before, other than the vacuuming? I guess is what I'm asking.
No, it does not. It looks like it's
Okay.
It looks like it's tacked down.
But it's obviously been cleaned.
It has obviously
in
been
order to
cleaned.
hide.
Yes.
Okay, I actually give this information over to Reginald, thinking him being the investigator might have something they know about that.
Now, Reg, he comes up to you as you're continuing to look around, because you see Zuki scurrying, Nicholas is checking the bodies, and you're like, okay, I'm going to keep investigating here. And you go over to the priest that was delivering the sermon, and there are papers in front of him on the lectern, as though he actually does have a sermon to deliver.
What do the papers say?
It's written in Sylvan.
I speak Sylvan.
Well, that is fortunate. It's also written in blood. That's not an important...
Well, I speak blood.
Oh, well, there you go. Then you are doubly able to read this. It says, summer's fire, winter's bite. Autumn hails the dying light. Spring begins our great rebirth. Now it comes our great new earth.
Do I get any bonus if I speak crypt?
Yes, absolutely.
Brian, is this a bit of prose something I recognize? Is it? It doesn't sound Shakespearean to me.
It is not.
But it reeks of fairy.
It does have a vague flavor of fairy to it. It absolutely does, but it does not sound like a familiar fairy refrain. Give me a history check.
That's a 12.
Never heard this poem before in your life.
Hey, who here is good at poetry? And I read the poem out loud to everyone that is examining the space.
Okay. You have all now heard the poem. Would you like to hear it again, or do you want Reginald to read it to you? Since he's the one that said he read it.
Both work well.
Go ahead. Let's hear it, buddy.
If you could send it to me, please, because I have no pen and paper. I'm in a strange room in a university I have no right being in.
Reginald is going to say it, but when he does, it's going to sound a lot like my voice.
I've been working on different character voices, and this one I call Man in Florida. Let me know what you think.
Summer's fire and winter's bite. Autumn hails the dying light. Spring announces our great rebirth. And now is born our great new earth.
The changing of the seasons. Interesting.
Is this something that I recognize from any of my musical studies or anything?
Not from any of your musical studies, but possibly from something mystical. So go ahead and give me a history check.
18 plus history 2. That'll be a 20.
Okay.
Boy.
This seems like it is a mockery of a poem on the seasons that you read in a Fey book once when you were learning about the different types of magic and how you could channel your voice and your music into spells. There was a fairy poem on the seasons, but it was not like this. This seems off somehow.
Okay, and I relay that information. This is a mockery or something. It's feels like a Fey poem, but it's been twisted. It's just off somehow.
Brian, are there other courts? Like, I'm familiar with the summer court and the winter court, but this is referencing almost the in-between, like fairies that don't fit into either, almost.
From what you know of the fairy realm, it is pretty much the battle between summer and winter. Those are the two ascendant powers. At different times of the year, one waxes and one wanes, and it rotates. But it seems possible that there could be in between.
Do I recognize the type of paper this is?
It looks like parchment.
Suki, click it.
Hang on, we can't hear you, Zuki. Do you have push to talk on?
Your microphone, my dear.
Yeah, you're showing is muted. There you go.
Yeah, my fingers weren't hitting the button properly.
Liquor.
When I'm not a rat anymore, I'll taste it.
Okay.
But right now I'm a rat. Sorry.
Are all these priests obviously naked? Are there any clothes laying around?
There are no clothes laying around. Or skin.
So there was paper on the lectern, but nothing else in the lectern?
Correct.
I hate to say this, but I hate this place and I want to get out of here as fast as possible. We've discovered a little bit of information, but I worry that even just being here, we are making ourselves a target. If anyone were to call the authorities or anything along those lines. So if anyone wants to do one final sweep to see what you can find, there is one other place I would like to check. But we should probably try to wrap this up.
I'm just curious, why would they attack these priests at this place? Is there something about this place that's special? And looking around for maybe some stained glass windows and things, or other exits, or other levels.
There's stained glass, and there is a balcony with an organ, but it's mostly old school, almost medieval style Gothic architecture. The oldest cathedrals in Boston are really quite impressive, and this has the vaulted ceiling and the beautiful stained glass window behind the cross, and then the stained glass windows along both sides of the pews.
But nothing in the stained glass that sparks a memory as far as this poem that we've just heard or anything of that nature.
Go ahead and investigate the stained glass if you would. And which side are you looking at? Okay.
Currently looking directly behind the podium,
Okay.
and investigation is +2. It's a 12.
Okay. It looks like, I mean, as much as you know about Catholicism, it looks like pretty standard stained glass religious imagery.
Okay.
Anybody want to attempt a religion check?
No, but I have a terribly good idea.
Okay. I want to hear that then.
Okay, Reg, Zuki, this is a terribly good idea.
Go on.
I don't mean to be excited about it, but I think we might have something here. What if we called Malnathir, and then Zuki was just happening to read the poem, and we look for a reaction?
Wait, you want me to call him and then read the poem to him?
Well, kind of like you're just, as he appears, you're just reading the poem, so it's like not intentional. Oh, hey, yeah, that's right, I called you.
Oh, like, oops, I just happened to call you while I was reading. Oh, I can't say any of this. I'm still a rat. Okay, I pop out of my rat form. Okay, when I think this is a terrible idea, it might just be a terrible idea.
Scritch crawls up your leg and into your sweatshirt pocket.
Okay, I would be willing to do this, but I've called him a lot over the past couple of days, and I've got myself committed to more than I probably should. And
I didn't know about that.
I think that trying to trick him into reading this poem to him is probably not going to actually trick him. So we would be better off being upfront with him if we're going to call him.
Okay, but do we have anything to offer then?
No. I mean, other than if he's interested in what is going on here and he thinks it would be useful information to have. But who knows, he may know about it, so...
We might see.
Oh, by the way, there was some incense
His response.
like stuff over there that kind of smelled funny, and it didn't smell like it belonged here.
Did you lick it?
I mean, wait, hang on. What, you found incense?
Yeah, it was under the little table thing over here, and I showed them where it was.
Okay.
No crumbs of incense?
Do we know this incense? Do we know what spells this is used for?
You could go ahead and give an Arcana check.
Brian, have we seen a vacuum cleaner anywhere by chance?
You have not, but if you wanted, you could go look for it.
I'm going to go look
You
around.
read my mind. Yeah.
Oh, and I'd be happy to lick that paper if you want me to.
Please lick a non-bloody area of the paper and not like, oh, that bloody hell. No, a literal non-bloody area of the
Really?
paper.
You're having to explain to me not to lick the bloody part of the paper? Really?
Tastes like copper.
What do you take me for?
A rat, Zuki.
Well, I'm
I
not
take you.
sure.
I got a 19 on that Arcana check.
You're not sure of specific spells, but you know from like, smelling it, and you dab a little bit on your tongue. You do the standard weird wizard thing kind of investigations. This is typically used in black magic. Various death ritual kind of things, either invoking the dead, communicating with the dead, inflicting necrotic damage, things like that.
So we can piece together, probably from all the little things, that a great big ritual happened here, that the priests were part of the blood sacrifice or part of this ritual. They weren't throwing the ritual. They were people, because of their job and where they happened to be, they were used from their stasis, almost like Zephyr's innocent blood, correct?
I feel like that is a reasonably accurate assessment, yes. It seems like they were victims here, and victims because of who they were.
Zephyr, see if you can find a vacuum cleaner. Maybe. I think you and I might have a similar idea.
Okay.
I'm on it, boss.
Zephyr, go and give me an investigation. Zuki, you head over and gently pick up the paper and lick a corner. This just tastes like paper. Ugh. No tingle, no mintiness.
This does not taste like winter fairy paper. This just tastes like normal paper. And I would know. I've tasted a lot of winter fairy paper. Or 2 pieces, really, but it feels like a lot.
And Zuki, do you read over the poem while you're there?
Yes.
Give me an insight check.
Ooh. 22. I'm good at insight.
You're reading it over, and something feels off about it to you. Maybe it's the fact that there's 2 sentences with repeated words in them. Maybe it's the fact that the meter is wrong, but this doesn't seem like actual fairy writing to you. It seems like someone went to trouble to make it feel like fairy writing.
So does it feel like there are unusual patterns there, and that the unusual patterns might be there for a reason?
No, it doesn't seem like a pattern. It doesn't feel patternish to you. It feels like someone is trying to make you think, hey, this is summer-winter stuff. And as much as you've been getting immersed in summer-winter stuff of late, you have more of a sense of what it is and what it isn't, and this isn't.
So somebody's trying to make this look like it's summer-winter stuff, even though it's not.
Yes.
Got it. So, I know you guys probably already know this because you know everything and way more than I do or whatever, but I don't think that this was written by summer or winter.
Why do you feel that way?
Well, because first of all, the paper's normal and it doesn't taste like winter. And second of all, this isn't written like they speak. It's wrong. It feels wrong. I've been spending a lot more time than perhaps I should with the summer court and the winter court, or at least members of them, and this doesn't feel like them. This doesn't feel right.
I think I can actually agree with that. Yeah, no, you're right, Zuki, and that was.
Anybody have a piece of paper, a calendar, a date? Can we write this down?
You were right. I was wrong. You're cute. I am very attractive. Let's not go down this pathway. You know, you had a win. Take the W.
I'll take the I and the N too.
Dear God, the Earth is doomed. Zephyr, any luck on that vacuum?
I obviously have no idea what a vacuum looks like as I rolled a 6 with my investigation.
Well, you know what it looks like. You just haven't found it.
Don't they hang them on the walls around the stained glass windows?
They do not. There are no vacuums hanging from any stained glass windows.
I feel like I've looked everywhere I can, and
Did you check the
I've
Jesus
come-
closet?
You guys did check
why
the
would
Jesus
they keep
closet,
it there?
and it was not there.
I meant the non-Jesus closet.
Did you want to go search the non-Jesus closet, Nick?
Yeah. Are there any like other doors in this room, or maybe like in the what was that room you said it was in?
The sacristy?
Yeah. That,
Well, you guys gave the sacristy a pretty thorough search, and there was nothing actually of interest there, even based on
Wait, what room did we search?
the sacristy.
Which?
that's
I'm
next
sorry.
to.
It's next to the Jesus closet, and it's just
Okay,
outside the
okay.
sanctuary. It
I'm just double checking. All right.
contains the Jesus
connected
closet.
to. Gotcha.
Yes.
Are there any other doors in this room?
There are the doors that lead out to the lobby of the church, which I believe also has a name, Firehawk, if you'd like to tell us, but I'm just going to call it the lobby for now. Unless it's the nave. I feel like the nave is a part of a church, or I may have made that up. I don't know. I'm Jewish. What are you going to do?
No, I think the nave is where your belly button is.
It's
Uh,
a navel.
Navel. That's it. Never
No,
mind.
no, I think that's the water branch of the military, isn't it?
No, you're thinking of
That's it.
seals.
Oh, SEALs, of course.
So while they're doing this, Zuki is trying not to look at these bodies because it makes her really uncomfortable. So she's looking at the stained glass windows, like all the way around the room,
Okay.
and seeing if she sees any imagery that looks familiar to her or reminds her of anything.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a religion check.
Oh, not good at those. That was a 3.
The pictures are pretty.
They look like doors.
Now, give me also a perception.
Okay. 14, 7, 21.
21. Okay. You do notice some spots of blood on different stained glass windows around the edges of the room.
Okay, are they any particular? Does it seem to be like, oh, random splatter, or does it seem to be like it might be intentional, or that there's a pattern to it, or anything?
It's definitely too precise to be a random spatter.
Okay, so how many of the windows have spots of blood on them?
There are 8 windows on either side, and 3 on each side have blood splatters.
Okay, and are there any on the? Because there were also windows that were opposite where he was speaking. Are there any blood splatters on those windows? Because weren't there 3 walls of windows, or was it just on either side?
There were 2 walls with windows, and then there was the one big window behind the cross.
Oh, got it. Okay, and are there blood splatters on that one?
There are no blood splatters on that one.
Do I
Okay, so what are the
notice
3?
Good.
Go ahead.
Right.
Oh, what are the 3? What are the 3 windows on each side depicting? What is in those? What's the picture?
Your Catholicism isn't super strong. So one
Okay,
side,
then I pointed out to everybody.
I was gonna say, so one side of the room, though, what you can tell is that one side of the room looks to be the Stations of the Cross, and
Okay.
3 of those have blood on them. And what's interesting is the final one, where Jesus is on the cross, the nails have blood on them.
Okay.
In one of the earlier stations, the crown of thorns has blood, and in a different station, the whip has blood.
Okay. And what about the other three on the other side?
On the other side, it is depictions of different saints.
Okay.
And on the saints, Saint Patrick has blood on him,
Okay.
and also the apostles Matthew and Mark have blood on them. And the blood on Matthew and Mark is on their hands, and on Patrick it is on his lips.
Okay, there's 8 and 8, and then there's 3 on this side, 3 on this side. Are they across from each other? Are they lining up straight across from each other?
Yes, they are.
Okay, so what is Patrick lined up with?
Patrick is lined up with the crucifix.
Okay, and then what is Matthew lined up with?
Crown of thorns.
Okay. And what is Mark lined up with?
Mark is lined up with the whip.
All right, I convey this information to everybody else.
Okay.
Does this mean anything to you? Do you guys think that there's a pattern here, or something that this seems too intentional to be coincidence?
I mean, there's definitely a pattern here. I was never big on religion. Nicholas, I mean, does this hit you anywhere?
I'm trying to think of any of the studies I would have done. It doesn't ring any bells, but maybe instead of interesting. So in the fact that she's staring intently at these windows, these stained glass, makes me want to look up just instinctually. Is there anything on the ceiling? Is there any artwork or architecture on the ceiling?
The ceiling is pretty standard cathedral architecture for this time period.
No artwork or anything like that?
No. In general, within the sanctuary in a Catholic church, the stained glass, and then the altar, and then the decorations on the altar, and the things around the dais where the altar is, that's where most of the decoration is. You may see in some of the fancier churches gold candlesticks and other artifacts, but by and large, the stained glass is meant to be the centerpiece art, along with whatever decoration is on the altar and the flowers on the dais and such.
Do the bodies relate to those 3 saints? Like, we already know that one is up on the cross, which might relate to Patrick in some way. Is there anything about his lips, or are the positions of the others, do they relate at all to the stained glass? Like, are there connections between the 3?
So you were looking at the crucifix and the lips, right?
Yes.
So you go to investigate that priest more closely, and you find on his lips a series of perforations all around his lips, the priest that is crucified.
Okay, so I convey this to everybody else. Does anybody know what that could mean? And should we look at the hands of the other 2?
Yes, let's look at the hands, but this is common when it comes to magical rituals. It's big. You're using small symbols to convey big ideas. It's the same thing you do when you cast a spell, Zuki, and you use a material component. The little thing represents the big thing. So these little things, even though they're not that little to us, have the potential to reference big ideas or big things. I think we stumbled into a group of people that are looking to bring about the end times, and they are trying to throw blame at the fairy court to lead us off the trail. If someone wants to look at the hands, I'm sure that that would back up, and it would be a reflection off of what we discovered in the stained glass windows along the sides.
What season are we in?
We are currently in summer.
The latter part or the beginning?
Early summer. By the way, I think Fire's starting to make up words because she told me that the entryway is called the Narthex. That can't be a real thing, can it?
No, that's right, the Narthex. Yeah, and
I thought that
Narthex,
was a Dr. Seuss character, the Narthex.
No, he takes.
No, that's the Lorax.
keys.
That's different.
Okay. Sorry. All right, so you've investigated. You found blood on the lips of the crucified priest.
The other two, matching any additional injuries?
Yes. The priest that is giving his sermon has little dots of blood, or little puncture wounds around his
For
forehead.
the crown. Any slash marks or tear marks on the other corpse? Or
His back is on the altar. You'd have to roll him over.
all right, I'll do that.
Okay, you roll him over, and yes, there are tear marks in the muscles on the back.
Okay,
And what about
matches
the hands?
It's hard to tell because the skin has been removed from the hands, whether or not there's more or less blood there than you would expect.
Well, we've got three scenarios. We've got the lips, the crown, and the whip. Each one representing an aspect in the grisly scene that we have on the stained glass. Anybody recognize a theme, like what this might represent?
I mean, here is the issue. Here is that there are so many other groups out there that exist in the world that are against the church in general. I mean, but there are also groups that are whispered about in the darker places. To narrow it down, to find a cult that's working with the outsiders, I mean, we have the incense and we have the symbols, but I don't know. At this point, they've attacked the church and they've performed some sort of dark ritual, and I'm not sure. The blood is concerning to me, that the blood is still wet here. That's something that you all discovered here, is that some of this blood should not be wet unless these rituals are being done still at this place with different people at different times. How many attacks have there been against all of us using outsiders? Nicholas, you and the spider. Zephyr, you and and your mother. Me and seeing my husband. There are three bodies here. There's potential that that we may have stumbled upon the staging room, and if that's the case, I wonder if a good idea might be to wait, as uncomfortable as it may be, and wait for them to come back and either stop them and make a stand, or follow them back and figure out who is doing all of this.
Keel, something's been bothering you and kind of eating at you the entire time you guys have been in the church. Go ahead and give me an insight check at advantage.
That is a total of 18.
Churches are generally holy ground. It's hard for evil to function or exist in them. A properly cared for, consecrated church has a magical power of its own. It has its own paladins and things like that. And you have not detected any sense of consecration here at all. It feels as though this cathedral has been drained of its power.
Okay. So I'm going to use my divine sense to see if there's really anything specifically within this wretched scene that's sticking out that may give us some additional clues.
Okay. As your senses reach out, at first you feel nothing. No strong sensations of good or evil. And after a few minutes, it's almost as if you're reaching out with your senses and trying to find something, but you're also pulling it in. And you sense 3 presences in the pews in the front.
I'm going to look and see if I can see anything.
You see the apparitions of what looks like 3 mortal men, and it's tough for you to tell for sure because their spirits are faint, but it looks like they're wearing Catholic priest vestments. The black shirts, the white collars. Not their formal robes for when they're performing a service, but what they wear day to day.
Staring at these apparitions, I'm going to attempt to communicate with them in any way that I can.
Okay.
First, calling out to them, fathers, can you hear me?
They look pained.
Can I tell specifically where they may be looking, if they're focusing on anything in the room?
They seem to be looking at the body on the crucifix, or at least in that general direction.
Okay. Without really saying a word to the group, he's going to move over to the priest who's currently up on the crucifix and see if there's a way to, best that he can, respectfully remove him from the cross.
Okay. It's going to be a bit of a chore because of the way that he is attached there. He is truly crucified. He's nailed, and so it's going to require a team effort.
I go over the minute I see him start doing this, because I'm going to assume we don't see any of this. We just saw him start talking to thin air.
Yeah.
All right. I start going over and lending my strength. Maybe I can lift the legs. Keel, if you want to find like a ladder or something and try to get the nails out.
What are you guys doing with respect to the symbols on the floor in blood?
Can someone take pictures of these? Can we? I don't want to. Well, last time I did that, it blew up my phone. Is there any way to copy them down onto paper? Or Keel, I believe you tried to study them, correct, to see if they cycled through on the phone?
I did. Did I see anything matching within the cycle?
The middle one matched.
Okay.
On one of the cycles.
And I'll share that with the group. But besides that, that was the only one that matched.
Yes, I'll find a piece of paper and try to copy them down, and then I will underline the middle one.
Okay. You can do that. Go ahead and give me. Do you have proficiency with any kind of drawing tools or?
I don't think so. I never envisioned him as much of a drawer.
Then straight dex check to see how well you do with this drawing.
Oh, okay. 18. 13 on the dot. Yeah.
Everybody else kind of looks over your shoulder. Yeah, that's a reasonable facsimile. That looks. I see what you're doing. I see what you're going for there. Yeah. All right. So are you guys going to be careful not to step in the blood? Or are you going to just track through it as you try to remove
no.
his body?
God, there might be some latent magic there. No, we're going to be very, very careful and bring this body down without disrupting it.
Okay. So you guys take your time and you carefully remove the body from the cross. And what do you do with it? Who's helping Keel and Reginald?
I'll assist for sure.
Okay. More than 3 people would probably be a challenge. So 3 seems the right number.
Keel, what do we do? This is not my territory.
We right now we just kind of need to move it a little bit out of the way, but not throwing it out of the way, not tossing it, carefully setting it down, make sure that we're as respectful as we can. Once we can, we'll find something to cover the bodies with.
Okay. The body is moved, and it is laying off to the side, and you find something to cover it with.
I'm going to glance back at the pews where I saw the 3 apparitions.
They still are glancing in the same direction as the crucifix.
Keel then will begin moving the other bodies out of the way,
Okay.
just as respectfully as before.
Okay. So you now have a row of 3 bodies off on the side of the dais, all covered.
Is there anything different now about the crucifix now that the body has been removed? Can we look around it or on the sides of it? And specifically the nails. What nails did they use?
Sure. Give me an investigation on the nails.
While he's doing that, Keel's going to move towards the very front of the church where they've got the bowl of water to bless yourself, and pull a little bit from that, since that has been blessed. It's holy water. Pull a little bit of that water and take it over and attempt to wash away the runes.
Okay. As you pour water on the first rune, the rune begins sizzling, and the holy water starts to dissolve the blood rune. And as the first rune is washed away, you see the pain wash away from the face of the priest on the far left, opposite that rune, and you see his spirit drift up and begin to dissipate.
And I'll move down the line.
As you clean the runes, you release each of the spirits of the priests from whatever was holding them here, and you can see a look of relief as they drift up through the top of the cathedral.
Once I see that, I'll say a quick prayer to Valandris to guide him back to the gates.
And the place feels a little holier to you than it did a couple minutes ago.
14 on that investigation check on the nails.
These are old iron nails. I mean, this is old school iron. You would say that they were probably antique.
Do I have a nail guy? Do I have an antique guy that I
You
can
probably
bring?
have a guy. I would think you'd have a guy for this.
Is he a little eccentric but well-meaning?
Oh, aren't they all?
Yes, they are, and I share that with the group. I say, I have an antiques guy. If you would like, we could bring these nails to them and possibly give us a lead on one of the multitude of groups that could have done something like this. Are you all fine with leaving here and showering until we run out of hot water and then going to the antique guy?
Is the antique guy the guy that I think you're thinking about?
Gray deals with making things new. The guy I'm thinking of deals with things of the old. Unless I'm misremembering it, in which case I'm going to do my other voice impression of the man from Florida again.
You are not misremembering. Calvert is the man who is your antiques friend.
Yes.
You and Calvert get along quite well because he is stuffy and British as well.
You all are going to love Calvert. He is the coolest guy ever. I mean, he's handsome. He's got this lovely voice. You are just all going to love him just as much as you love me. Probably more so. He's so cool. Oh, I love Calvert. Well, let's go see Calvert.
We need to make an anonymous tip to the police so they can come and take care of this.
Yeah, especially now that
we
we've
just can't
moved
leave
their
them.
crime scene all around. I'm sure they'll be really appreciative of that.
Hey, we're good Samaritans stumbling across the scene.
Keel, could I make a suggestion that maybe we have Sam call this in? He might have some means to do this respectfully. Maybe on our way out to go see Calvert, you can call Sam, and Sam could probably take care of it and knows the right people to call, even maybe about re-sanctifying the space.
That's an excellent idea.
All right, so you guys are going to head out to Sam's place?
But we were actually going to head to Calvert and
Just
then
call Sam?
call Sam on the way
All right.
because even destroyed, there's nothing that the Plaster Dragon can't do.
Right? Yellow.
Sam,
Hey,
got something for you.
what's going on?
During our little investigation of everything that's been going on, we've stumbled across something not good.
Oh, well, that's refreshing.
Yeah. We need you, or we don't know if you can do it, but do you know of somebody who might be able to re-sanctify a church as well as respectfully move some bodies?
What kind of church are we talking?
Catholic.
If you want to re-sanctify a Catholic church, you're going to have to go to the Catholics themselves. They pretty much do that on their own. There's no rituals that I know of that'll do it any better than what they're doing.
Okay. Body removal? Anything on that?
I mean, I can send a guy, sure. What do you want done with the bodies? Whose bodies are they? Did you kill them?
We didn't kill them. We found them flayed and posed around the church in a horrible ritualistic kind of a way.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah.
All right, I'll send somebody right over.
Okay. Do you want to reach out to the Catholic Church, see if they can figure something out like that, or would you rather have us do that?
Why don't you guys take that one on?
Okay. Thanks, Sam.
Sure thing. I'll check back in with you guys a little later and let you know how it's going.
All right.
Okay, so you guys, this conversation was while you were walking, and you hop on the train because Calvert's in a slightly different part of town. And you head over to Calvert's Antique Shop, which is cleverly called Calvert's Antique Shop. He's not one for ceremony or fancy names.
He's the best at naming things.
He is.
Hey, what do you guys think of the name? Do you like the name Calvert's Antiques? Do you like it?
Straightforward.
Yeah, right?
Wait a
Right?
minute.
God, he's so cool.
Wait till you see what he named his Triceratops.
Triceratops.
No. Okay, you open the door. Ding, 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 ding. Little brass bell above the door. And there's a man behind the counter. He's rummaging. Yes, be with you in a moment. Just a tick. Make yourselves at home. Everything here is fine.
Take your time, you old codger.
Reginald, as I live and breathe, what brings you in here? And he turns around, broad smile on his face.
Well, I would love to say that this is a pleasure visit, and we are still on, right, to see the new Doctor Who when it premieres? Like we're going to do that?
Oh yes, Christmas, can't wait.
Yes. Oh, good. And you should all do this. It's so much fun. We make this another time. Sorry. We found these
Another
nails.
time. Very good, Reg. Very good.
Thank you. It's a little wibbly wobbly. Anyway, we have these nails, and we found them, and we're hoping that you would be able to tell us a little bit something about them. I hate to skip the pleasantries, but I know that's your style. Would you mind taking a look?
Well, not at all. Give me a moment here. And he goes and he pulls out a pair of silk gloves and puts them on. And he pulls a velvet-covered tray out and lays it on the counter and says, please. And he gestures to you to put them on the counter there.
I put them on the counter and I turn back to Zuki and I'm like, silk gloves, he's so cool, I need silk gloves.
And he pulls
She
out
rolls her eyes.
he pulls out a jeweler's loop and picks up one of them, starts studying it really carefully. He's turning it over. He rubs it a little bit with his finger. He says, oh, that is blood on there. You didn't tell me there was blood, Reginald? I've soiled my gloves.
Well, I will buy you a new pair of gloves, but honestly, I had to keep you on your toes and bring a little excitement into the shop every now and then.
Yes. Yes, I
Yeah, you
suppose.
might- Yes, there you are.
What's interesting about this, and he just scratches again and flakes a little bit of metal off onto the counter. And he pulls out a pair of tweezers, picks it up, puts it in a little vial, and he goes and gets some small squeeze bottles, almost like the kind you find in eye drops or like in a pool testing kit. And he starts adding drops and then adding water, and he shakes it around, and it changes colors as he adds different drops to it. And he says, "This is very old indeed. I would say probably close to 2,020 years old. Biblical times and all that."
Wait, are you saying this is some holy shit?
Yes, this is holy shit, my friend. I'm not saying these are the nails that nailed Christ up, but they are certainly from the same era, and of a similar make, if the lore is to be believed.
Objects like this are bad because there is a lot of faith and a lot of power in this particular moment in time. And so the closer that they could get to having an accurate representation of this particular moment in time, the more powerful the magic is going to be.
Given this information, you think it's entirely possible that they were trying to recreate some portion of the Stations of the Cross in that ritual?
I share that with all of you.
Zephyr's wondering how easy is it to get hold of something like this?
Nearly impossible.
Is it possible that they've been stolen, that there'd be news of it, that we could actually talk to where it came from?
It is possible that something like this has been stolen, but I think I would have heard of that. This smacks of something that has been held for a very long time for such a purpose. Yeah, we don't need to raise our hands here in the shop, young man. It's quite all right.
Force of habit. Yeah. Oh, so you're talking to me now.
Force of habit? Are you a student?
Long time. Okay, so you're a little touchy with the things there, with trying to identify them. Do you sense any actual magic in them?
Magic? What do you take me for? Some dime store charlatan? Magic.
American sense of humor. American sense of humor. David Blaine.
Tricks.
Yes, that sort of thing.
David Blaine, Paul Daniels, that sort of thing. I see.
Yes, of course. Yes, you understand, and it's a thing.
Yes. Would you like me to pull a rabbit out of a hat for you?
Does it have nails?
The rabbit or the hat?
A bat? Maybe a 6'4" Impala?
Koval, thank you so much for your time. Thank you once again. We are two countries separated by a common language. I look very much forward to Christmas. If you would send me an invoice for your time here.
No, there's no invoice for that. That was the price is to keep me posted on what the hell you've gotten yourself into this time.
I think you may have hit the nail on the head with the hell.
I see.
I will take those and then tea sometime soon, please.
Very good, very good. And you see him peel off the silk gloves and open a small silver waste bin with a foot pedal, and he just throws them in, and you see from your angle that there are many silk gloves in the dustbin, and then the lid closes.
Yeah, I walk out of the shop and out into the street.
Reg, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I thought he was.
No. It's all right. Most of the people that I associate with are in the loop. But Nicholas, that's not on you. That's on me. Part of the arrangement that you and I have is I'm supposed to help train you in the ways of these things. We need to always operate unless one of the group mentions it implicitly, that people that we meet, even if I introduce you to them, are outside of the loop and remain blissfully ignorant of the weird level of shit that we put up with on a hourly basis.
Gotcha. But I got a new thing that I want to try. It's a ritual I've learned, and it takes about 10 minutes. If we want to try it.
Yes, should we go back to the apartment so you have a space to work on so we're not in the busy street? Yes, there, you're catching on. Look at you. You're so clever. Clever boy.
All right, you guys head back to the apartment, which appears to be just as you left it for a change.
Yay.
Disappointing.
Cool. Are we taking a short rest here?
I believe
Just
you
for the
are.
record?
Yes, you can
Okay.
certainly have a short rest. And Nicholas, what ritual are you doing as if I did not know?
I want to try to detect magic.
You do a detect magic ritual. You kneel down, begin chanting over the nails, and you see his hands begin to glow, and then his eyes begin to glow. And as you look around, you can see the fabric of magic all around you. You see the different items. You see Zuki's bracelet glowing. You see Reginald's crossbow glowing. Zephyr's guitar. And as you look at the nails, they aren't magical per se, but you do sense the power of belief radiating off of those nails, which isn't a magic it's not a school of magic, but it is a magic in and of itself.
But I've seen this kind of more before. Nope. Just
You just learned
Nope.
the spell, so nope.
Yep.
No, you would not have.
Yep.
Wait. Didn't we encounter something? Didn't we encounter something magical that we couldn't pinpoint?
I have detect magic too, which I would have used before because I've had that from the very beginning. See what he's seeing, even though I haven't cast the spell.
No, you don't see because you haven't cast the
Okay.
spell.
So I wouldn't be able to compare it to anything. Okay.
If you decided to cast it, then you could kind of compare notes.
Okay. I see what he's doing and I recognize it. Would you like me to help as well?
Oh.
Two brains working together on the same thing?
by all means. But one, no. His bow, yeah, that's got some magic attached to it. Your bracelet, there's some magic attached to that. And did I see anything on Keel?
Keel, did he see any magic on you?
Zephyr's
yeah.
guitar.
You would have attached to my belt is my little carpenter's hammer, but you know it is transforming into my warhammer.
Okay.
Yep.
I help. I also cast it and see if two brains is better than one.
Now, the colors of magic look different to you than they do to him because you each channel your impressions of the weave through your own experiences. For Nicholas, the magic is more structured and orderly. With you, magic flows like nature. So you see like vines of magic and weaving patterns. And again, you see the nails and they don't look magical at all, but at the same time they have a power to them that you can sense while you're looking through this lens. And for Zuki, what would be the strongest kind of belief, do you think?
The strong, like religion based.
Well, just what does Zuki believe in the most?
Um. Mm, uh, life magic, like living things, animals, and that sort of thing. But probably for her, faith magic, not necessarily faith religion based, but the power of faith itself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So
just because of her stuff, her searches and things like that.
So what you see within the nails, you see all of your searching, all of your belief that you will triumph, that believing in something is enough, that searching, that striving, that energy, that emotional intent, you feel that coming from the nails.
Is there anything like that she's seen before, especially in, I guess she hasn't really cast it recently with some of these things we've been seeing, though.
Yeah, but
Okay.
only inside her own mind and heart.
Okay.
There's something I've been wanting to say since we walked up to the Catholic Church. Brian, can I cross-reference the nails with people that were possibly at the Plaster Dragon that evening?
Cross-reference, huh?
No one else? Oh, come on, that was clever. That was good. Cross-reference, please.
I was with you. That's why I hung my head, because
any of the groups that we saw entering or exiting that would have the juice to be able to get something like this from this time period.
You think that the groups most likely to have something like this would be the Catholic Church, the Court of Shadows, and maybe the Crimson Blade? This seems like stuff that would be hard, harder than the guild level, and I mean, the Southie Irish Catholics possibly, but again, this seems a little out of their weight class.
Well, I mean, this sucks, and I feel like we are continually going down this path of like finding what we think to be might be a lead or might be a way of going about things. Now, the only thing that we have going off of the Crimson Blade is the fact that the vampires eliminated them as possibilities there. But we also overlooked the priest going into the bar, and that led us there as well. And God, all of that innocent blood. The Court of Shadows are evil, correct? So they would have a hard time getting into that sanctified ground. What has the power to do that?
That's a good question. Why don't you give me an Arcana check?
It's a big number. It's an 18.
18 is a pretty good number. From your recollections and research, the type of creature that would be able to do this, it would need to be able to change shape, and it would need to be able to mask its true nature somehow, whether that was by a magical talisman or by use of some kind of reagents, perhaps blood, to mask its true nature.
Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. We gave them the keys to the kingdom. Did we give them the keys to the kingdom? Could they use innocent blood to just stroll into the church and do this?
Certainly a possibility.
Son of a bitch.
Is it a possibility based on the time frame that we're looking at right now?
Weren't they a few days old, and didn't this just happen? Didn't we just give them blood, but the
Yes.
bodies were a few days old?
Also, yes.
Yeah.
But wasn't
But
some
I
of the,
probably collected
yeah,
innocent blood from others.
but wasn't some of the blood that we found at the church still wet?
Yes.
Could some of that have been Zephyr's blood? In theory.
In theory, yes, absolutely.
So is this bad, Rich?
Yes, it's bad. It's bad. It's Scrappy Doo bad. It's just bad all the way around.
Wow, you used the reference correctly.
I will accept accolades and praise later. For
I
now,
just
I
did.
think. Yeah, I think we know who's been doing this, and I'm so angry at myself for allowing them to.
I resupplied them, didn't I?
You did, Zephyr, but I allowed it to happen. God, because we needed information and we tried to save an innocent life, and we didn't give them a freaking bird or a rat or.
Zuki says, I told you so with everything but her mouth.
That's very good, Zuki. You're doing a wonderful job.
Well,
Is
what do
it
we do now?
possible? Did they go in afterwards trying to steal the souls of those that were taken? I mean, the massacre happened before they had the blood.
I have an idea. And just like my good friend Nicholas, it's potentially a bad idea.
Then I'm in.
So we have a group of people that have been using us, but we are not the only people they've been using. They've actually set the vampires against us, and I think the vampires might be eager to learn who's been organizing this. They turned to the fairy courts and almost had the fairy courts involved in it as well. So what if we scheduled a meeting point and we let all of these organizations and people know that we were meeting at a certain place with the group that we feel is responsible for bringing about the destruction of Boston. And we have a long conversation with all of them present. How does that sound?
Bold. I love it.
Idea.
I knew you would like it, Nicholas. Let's make some phone calls and let's schedule potentially the last meeting that we're going to go to.
Okay. Who's calling who?
I can probably contact a couple of them.
Okay, so Zuki, who are you contacting?
Well, probably the easiest ones for me to contact are Summer, because if I contact Winter through the necklace, I'm going to get sucked into Winter Fae Court place. I mean, that is a way to contact them, but it seems like Sam has a good way to contact them too.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like me to say to Lord Mothra?
Lord Mothra works in the shadows, hypothetically, and very much so. So I don't know if Lord Mothra is going to provide direct influence, but he is going to want his hand on this in case it goes well. But he's not going to want so blatant a hand on it in case it goes poorly. So maybe start with some hypotheticals. Keel, what if you reached out to the Catholic Church? I think they will have their hands full, but there are certain powers that be that would want this stopped, especially using this particular iconography. I can reach out to the vampires because they will definitely want to know about all of this. I don't know if we should get the guilds involved because I don't want. Yes, you don't have to raise your hand. Yeah, what is it?
What if we have Sam contact all the people and use his sphere of influence because he is more likely to get them there than us band of ragtag misfits that some of them don't even like?
Oh my God. We are a ragtag bunch of misfits that nobody likes. Gang, we're Scooby-Doo. It just hit me. It works on so many levels. Yes. That's wonderful. We will contact Sam and Sam can contact them, and then that way it's almost like this is a game and we won't know who all shows up, and some overlording power above us will know who all shows up to this meeting to assist us, but we won't, some sort of all-knowing, master. If we were in a dungeon master would know all of the creatures that are coming to assist us for this meeting,
It's like a terrible idea.
That's right.
So
That's
you're going
right.
to call Sam and have him round up the Winter Court, the Summer Court, the vampires, the Catholic Church, and who else?
All of them. The whole kit caboodle.
I don't want to involve the guilds. I mean, they may. You know what? No, I promised them I would let them know if I found out who was responsible.
So the
yes,
guilds and the Crimson Blade too? Are we just basically having a reunion of that night?
we are having a reunion of that night. Whoever wants to show up, one night only at the Plaster Dragon. Great big blow up.
Okay.
Drinks are on Reg.
So who
Now-
who dials up Sam?
Before we do that, just one thing I want to remind everybody: we're being watched at all times. If we go to set up a meeting of the heads or those in contact with each of these individuals, that's a disaster waiting to happen. That's another bomb planted. I don't know if we can risk everybody meeting at once. It just does not sound like a smart play for us.
That's pretty much
I
it.
understand. I understand that, and I also have faith in these groups that I don't think the leaders of the Winter Court, the Summer Court, and all of these representatives will be there. However, I do think they will send agents of themselves to be there because of the same fact that if it goes tits up, we are to blame. But if it goes well, they're the ones that did it, and we almost effed it up. Either way, we're coming out of this as losers, but the world wins, which is how I should have envisioned this going from the start. But I think it might be the right path. But I will bow to you in this, Keel, because you are more emotionally connected. If you feel like the right choice is not to let them know and to handle this ourselves, I would bow to you in this.
I mean, that's my first instinct. We know, or we think we know, it's the Court of Shadows who are pulling all the strings to get whatever it is into our realm. But there are those powers that be who are currently here who may be able to stop it.
Can we compromise? Could we not request their aid, but let them know when and where we plan on meeting them? So if they send someone, it is of their own accord, rather than asking them to put themselves in harm's way.
I'd much rather do that.
This is why I need you around. Yes, God. Yes. What is it? What is it?
Another good idea. I mean, bad idea.
What- Okay.
What if Keel, you invite a rep from Ben? And
The only rep I know is currently laid up in the hospital, and their headquarters was, well, we all know what happened there.
That's not true. The greatest representative for that organization I've ever met is standing in this room.
where?
It's Keel. I was trying to be
Yeah.
a moment.
My bad.
Keel.
Sorry.
No, it's all
I'm
right.
not good at this.
Keel, if I had to choose anyone from that organization, it would be you.
That's flattering and all, but I'm not a member of the organization.
Not yet. But maybe if we bring this to light, if that's something you choose to do down the road, but you should probably let them know, just as we're extending that courtesy to the other groups.
I honestly think that would be a good move, even if they are dirty, even if they aren't the best of people.
So are you extending
They were
these?
fun.
Are you extending these invites in person, or are you calling people? And where is this meet going to happen?
I like the personal touch. I'm going to call the vampires. I'll call the. We can start a signing. You don't like it? You think Sam should do it? All right. We ask Sam to do it, and we ask if we can use the frickin' plaster dragon one more time. And we ask to have sandwiches and drinks waiting for us when we get there.
Wait a minute. So, what was that, Zuki?
Can you cater it too? Can you make these calls for us, set up this meeting and cater it?
So you call Sam up. He said, "Wait a minute. Let me see if I got this right. You want me to call all of the factions that you think are involved and invite them back to the bar for a meeting, and you want me to cater it?"
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was. Yeah, that's about it. That's about it. But to stop the end of the world from happening.
Just want to make sure so I'm clear. We're also including the Court of Shadows on that invitation.
I guess so. So we got the Court of Shadows, we got the Crimson Blade, we got the guilds. Did you guys ever get in touch with the church about reconsecrating it?
Keel's working on it.
Q, I assume, has some Facebook messages sent out. The Catholic Church has to have Facebook, right? Is that a thing?
He definitely would have reached out to his mom. She's very devout Catholic.
Okay, we'll play that out in a minute because that should be good.
If we don't see this scene, I will break this computer in half. Q calling his mother to get the Catholic Church. Mom, I need you to call Bob Catholic and tell him.
So, and then we got the vampires and the werewolves and... Jeez. This does not strike me as a great idea. And you want to use the bar?
Unless you have another suggestion.
I don't know, maybe someplace less conspicuous if you want to gather everybody together?
Yes, I actually know a place. Brian, do I know a place?
I mean, there's parks around that you could probably find someplace isolated. Though
Guys,
the park
there are
where you
some
were
parks-
with Zuki, where you were looking for vampires, Zuki would probably be
like
opposed.
Olmsted Park?
Zuki would be opposed to Olmsted Park.
Yeah. I don't like that because I don't want to mess up what they've got going over there. They're helping people.
Yes,
We could bring a whole lot of people down on them.
but there are other parks that I know to be isolated that we could probably use.
True.
What about the church?
Mm,
I mean, not that church, though. I mean, a church, maybe.
No, I think it's a
I
church.
think the vampires might have trouble getting in.
Not that church.
Not that church.
At least not till it's reconsecrated.
I mean, yeah. If you're fine with it, it's a more central place, and like I said, I'm up to doing this just us. If you all want, and just letting them know that the meeting is happening. We will let them know how it goes afterward. Sam, and we're not asking them to come, but we promised them that we would communicate with them, and you are just basically acting as an emissary because we know talk gooder than you.
I think that's fair because that allows them to stay in the background and just observe if they choose to, or not even show themselves if they choose not to, but they have the information and we follow through with our agreement.
So,
But if they feel that they need to interact and to intervene in some way, then they have an opening to do that.
who do you want required to be there? If I tell everybody it's optional.
The Shadow Court would have to be there, right?
All right, I'll try and arrange a meet with the shadows.
I mean, does everybody agree with that?
I think we also need a representative from the Summer Court as well as the Winter Court there.
Here's a question that I haven't really thought about up until this point. Is this outside of our weight class? Like, very much so, right? Like, I'm all for dying valiantly. I mean, I always thought I would die, in bed, but I'm fine with this. This is a good ending. But I would love the cards stacked on our side just a little bit. What is a way to cheat this so that we're going in with an ace in the hole?
Well, what if we require a representative from every single member who was there the night of the explosion? We can then expose the Court of Shadows, and at that point, hopefully they'd all be on our side. I mean, I have no reason to believe they wouldn't just rally behind us at that point.
Sam, who put up the warding on the bar?
It wasn't any one person. There was a lot of people involved in weaving that magic.
Over time?
Over time, reinforced, replenished.
Nothing that can be done at a short notice for like a
No.
minor version?
Nope. It will definitely not be neutral ground. There will be no neutralization spells. It'll be a hot zone if you come to the bar. Same as if you go anywhere else. So I'd prefer if you were going to pull this kind of nonsense that you go somewhere else.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Let's set it up for the church, and maybe tomorrow evening, if that's all right, Sam, to give everyone time, and then we will brainstorm and try to figure out a way to come out alive in all of this.
Sounds like a plan.
Yes, at dawn we plan.
All right, Keel, so you're going to go call your mom?
I'm going to go call Mommy.
All right. So do you walk out into the hall? Do you...
No, I'll do it right there in front of everybody.
Well, if we're using the church, is he wanting to make the call now?
Are you?
It's been a while since I've checked in with her, but I don't think we want it sanctified just yet. So I'm gonna hold off on that phone call.
Okay. And that is where we will take our break tonight. All right, everybody, hang back, grab yourself a beverage, hit the restroom. We will see you all in about 5 minutes.
Does she taste like winter paper?
You'll have to ask her, honestly. We'll figure out when she gets back on Twitch if I taste like winter paper.
So somebody
Brian,
clip
it
that.
sounds like nobody can hear you.
Oh darn, I left myself muted and nobody heard any of the horrible, embarrassing things I was saying then. That's actually a good thing for a change.
Such a proud papa.
When we last left our heroes, before Maya licked Tracy, they were in the process of planning and trying to assimilate the information that they had discovered at the church. Let's go back there now. All right, so you guys have made your call to Sam. Sam has called people and told them to be at the church tomorrow evening. What are you going to do in the interim?
God, I don't know. I mean, this is literally a battle I have no idea how to even prepare for. Holy water? I mean, if these things are truly evil, any sort of thing that's anti-necromancy, I mean, to quote Buffy, where do we go from here?
Why is the path unclear?
Is this going to be a very special musical episode?
The curtains close on a kiss, God knows, but we walk along in fear.
I got distracted.
Don't make me slap you. For God's sakes, woman, put your clothes back on.
I was doing a lot of running around on the break.
Can I, is there a place, we haven't really talked about this in terms of finances. If I have any sort of savings lined up, if this is me going out, is that the equivalent, other than Gray's, of a supernatural Walmart? Like, I want like some holy water, I want maybe some bolts and a nice bottle of whiskey.
So Catholic Church would be your place for the holy water. Gray would probably have some items for you if you wanted to try and buy.
I have a requirement if we're going to go see Gray.
All right, let's go visit Zuki's boyfriend. And
No. But if we go, I have to order a cold pineapple pizza and bring it to him and let it get cold on the way. I promise.
Does anyone else want to go with us to Gray's to stock up on any sort of fun items before we face the incoming apocalypse? Or
I'm wondering if someone needs to head back to the church and make sure that it's ready for the meeting.
By clearing the bodies?
There's no
I
splitting
don't
the party.
know. Do we leave the bodies there? Is the church how we want it when the meeting happens?
I mean, if they did it, they are not going to be surprised by what it looks like.
why not, Zephyr? It's not a bad idea. Why don't we do this? We ask them to meet up with us in the evening, correct? Why don't we head over to the church in the morning and clear the space, maybe have one last meal together before the meeting, after we check the space, and then head over there in the evening. I will buy the meal. You can have all you can eat.
I'm good with it.
Okay, so are you heading off to Gray's this evening or in the morning or what?
No, let's go tonight. I'm
Okay.
feeling feisty. Let's get some cold ham and pineapple
Just
pizza.
pineapple.
Just pineapple?
Just pineapple.
All right. Just pineapple pizza, cold, and then we head over to Gray's.
Okay. You head over to Gray's. It's fairly empty at this time of the evening. It's more of a morning crowd place. And you're carrying a pizza that is cooling. What do you do?
We have to order the coffee, Reggie. I mean,
No.
tea.
Yeah, it's tea. It's tea.
Do you want me to explain it? I figured you'd remember.
Actually, yeah. Why don't you go ahead, dear? Why don't you do it?
So I go up and I order a chocolate chip croissant because it doesn't matter what kind of croissant I order. And he said that. So, and Earl Grey tea.
Okay. And the tea and the croissant come, and there's a little key sitting next to the tea on the saucer.
She sticks her tongue out at Reggie and then walks towards me.
Normally, you have to say Earl Grey tea hot, but apparently someone here is not as big a Trekkie as I am. Let's go see Grey.
And you go over and you put the key in, and the door shifts aside, and you can hear the crashing and smashing coming from below. As you enter down, yes, who is it?
It's me! I brought you pizza!
Oh, is it the cold pizza with the pineapples on it?
It is!
You remembered.
You have to say it.
Oh, thank you, child. It is so nice to be appreciated. And he goes and he grabs the pizza and he goes and plops
Thank
it
you
down.
for your help. I appreciate you.
Oh, so nice. And what of the rest of you? What do you want?
Reginald is just leaning up against the wall with his arms crossed in front of him, being like, no, Zuki represents the group now. She is the new person in charge of communication, so I will let her...
Don't have your
should put
feelings
on that
hurt, Reg.
pizza.
You're still special. But what have you done for me lately?
Well, I'm trying to stop the end of the world from happening.
That is important. It's where I keep my stuff.
Right, and we want you to keep your stuff, and we actually have a meeting set up with where I think all of us are going to die. So
That
I thought
seems poor planning.
that's on me. That's on me. And so we thought we'd come to you to see if you had any tricks up your sleeve, because if we go, that's all right. There's plenty of us. But if the world goes, no more pineapple pizza.
No, it's all right. There are pineapples on other planes. I mean, it's not all right.
No more Zuki, though. I mean, look at her. She's...
And you have to keep in mind, there may be pineapples in other places, but there is a very specific combination of sauces and cheeses and dough and pineapples, and then it goes in the oven, and then it comes out of the oven, and then it gets cold, and they can't do that anywhere else.
It is true. I have not seen that combination on another plane. You seem to know a lot about it. I could relocate you to another plane that is safer.
We'll keep that in our back pocket, but first let's try to keep the world around.
All right, that does seem more sensible. So, what did you have in mind?
We don't know. I was thinking something along the lines that would help us fight the forces of darkness. These are gentlemen and ladies that work for the Court of Shadows, very dark, necromantic things. Didn't know if you had anything special you've been working on that might help with that. We actually have a few of the Dayman balls that we could give back to you, because they worked beautifully with the vampire.
Oh, yes, they would.
So we hand him back 2 of them, right? Because we used 1 during the battle. So we hand him back 2. What?
I didn't tell you I'd give it back.
Zephyr, who has 1?
I have one.
Use mine.
Mike, Nicholas, I'm sorry. Would you mind handing him your balls?
Why, certainly.
The day
She only
ball.
has
The
one,
day
and I have
ball.
the other one.
Nick.
Fine, I'll hand it
I think we were
on.
talking about the same thing.
Oh, you're giving it back? You don't think you're going to fight anything else?
No, I mean,
I mean,
we just.
it wasn't my idea. I was really grateful that you gave that to us, and I was hoping to, to be able to utilize this amazing thing that you did. But if Reggie feels that that's best, well, how do you feel about it, Gray? How do you feel about it?
Well, I mean, if you don't feel like you need it, I can always take them apart and use it for something else.
I trust your judgment. If you think that this might be a useful thing for us, then I really respect what you have to say right now about it.
Reginald throws up in his mouth just a little bit. It's just a little bit right at the back that.
Let me see what I have. He goes over and he has a tray of rings sitting on the table. And he starts picking them up and licking them. And then he stops. Ah, yes. This is the trick. You said you're worried about necromantic energies, yes? This will... it will give you resistance to necrotic damage. Yes?
That's wonderful. Great. Yes. Yes. Thank you. 1,000 times. Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Not 1,000 times, just $1,000.
Do I have $1,000?
In your savings, you probably have 1,000 saved up.
I pay for it, and
Wait, what if we brought you cold pizza every day for a whole week?
$500 and the pizza.
Did you tell him about the bacon with the pineapple?
That's worth at least another $250.
Bacon?
With pizza and pineapple? Woo!
What do I look like to you? Why would I eat an animal?
He's vegetarian. He's vegetarian.
Oh, no, I was talking about
Sauce
vegetarian
bacon.
Totally talking about vegetarian bacon.
Bacon's totally vegetarian.
bacon.
He makes a face.
They eat plants.
He makes a face and sticks his tongue. Have you
Okay,
eaten?
just pineapple.
Have you eaten that fake bacon?
How do you feel about mushrooms?
Mushrooms are all right. Do you need some mushrooms? I have some.
No, on your pizza. Have you tried that?
I have not. But you know what they would go good with? Veggie sausage. Veggie sausage is not bad like veggie bacon. Veggie sausage and mushroom.
I bet we could work out a deal for some cold pineapple and veggie sausage pizza.
I might try that.
Hang on a minute. What's the cost of that thing again?
$450. This is
$160?
This is a very rare item, child.
Yes, and veggie sausage and pineapple pizza is the rarest of pizzas.
Give me a deception check.
Darn it.
Uh-oh.
Ooh, that was a 10.
He says,
Okay, so maybe it's not that rare, but it is very unusual.
I will
And
grant
very
you unusual, but please, child, do not try to take advantage of our friendship.
I'm sorry.
Hey, Brian.
I thought you would really like the vegetarian sausage and pineapple pizza.
I will like it, but not enough to knock $300 off of a rare magical item.
That's fair enough.
Now, who is the ring for?
I don't want to speak for the group, but I imagine that Keel is going to have the best shot against the. No.
I'm naturally resistant to that kind of stuff.
Oh. Nicholas.
Does the ring double up?
What do you mean? Does it double up?
Well, if he has a natural resistance, does it make him immune?
No.
Zephyr, Zuki, which one of you would like the ring?
I think it might be a good idea for Zephyr to have it.
I'm not going to say no.
Zephyr, I think this would look amazing with some of the jewelry you already have.
It seems to go nicely.
All right, tell me why you deserve the ring.
Why I deserve the ring?
You're the one that said he was going to take it. Who do you think I'm talking to?
I'm going to. I actually started a small tune on my guitar and everything, and let it go. And summer's fire, winter's blight. Autumn hails the dying light. Spring announces our great rebirth. And now is born our renewed earth. And the vision that is gold in my brain, it still remains. And I better cut it there.
All right, $400. That's as low as I go.
I hand him the $400. Thank you, Greg. It is much appreciated.
Now, do you need any, I don't know, magical ammunition? Do you need any healing potions?
Yes, and I've got another $600 in savings. That is yours if we could get as many, maybe our healing potion or 2 healing potions and some magical ammunition to be used against the forces of darkness.
All right, let me see. Just got in a shipment of healing potions from Moonspeaker Farms. Those are the best healing potions. And he goes over and he opens a little cabinet, and there's like a box with shrink wrap on it and a buffalo silhouette on the side.
Oh, the buffalo! I've heard of this guy. It's a little blatant, don't you think? Like running around as a giant buffalo. Seems a little much, right? I mean,
Well, can't argue with his results. And he goes, cuts the shrink wrap open, pops open the styrofoam. And he's like, all right, what do you need?
we need healing potions and we need some ammunition for a crossbow. I believe everyone else is running around with smashy smash weapons, and I tend to stay further back and shoot from a distance and say, everyone, you're doing a great job.
He goes and he pulls out 3 healing potions. He gives you 3 greater healing potions, and he goes and finds a box that looks like it's crossbow quarrel sized, and he flips it open, and there are 5 crossbow bolts in there, and they look really fancy.
Yes, please. What do they do?
They're not anything spectacular. I mean, they just more accurate and deadly than the average crossbow bolt. Just a little bit of homing magic on them, if you will.
They are gorgeous. Great. We will take the lot, please.
So you get 5 + 1 crossbow bolts, and you get 3 greater healing potions. And he says, that will be $600.
I hand him the money, and one tear rolls down my face. And I hand him the cash, and I look at the group and I say, yeah, someone else might have to cover lunch tomorrow. And then I said, oh, you order what you want. But we're looking more at a value menu sort of date, unless someone else wants to help out with that tomorrow.
And he's like counting the money out, and like every 5th or 6th bill he stops and licks it, and then he keeps counting. And he says, don't worry, Reginald, I'll just use this money to turn it into more interesting things for you to use later. I mean,
this is why we keep coming back to you, Gray.
You'll have to pay for them.
Yes, and I figured as much. Yeah.
Will there be anything else before I eat my pizza and drink my tea? Why is he raising his hand, Reginald?
It's a thing he does no one knows. Why does the moon rise in the night sky? I mean, why do bees fly around? Why does Nicholas raise his hand constantly? I don't
Well,
know.
I could answer the first two for you. I mean, the moon rises in the sky because Saloon tells it to. And bees fly because it's faster than walking.
I'm not going to argue with you, Gray. That's actually really smart. But I believe it's because he has something to say. Nicholas, go ahead.
Oh. Yes, Nicholas.
I have chosen to be polite, as always, and don't want to interrupt. That is why I raise my hand.
Oh, I see.
So, I recognize that you are very, very powerful and smart and know a lot of things that are going on and have the ability to move between planes.
All of these are true statements. Is that all you wanted to say?
No, it's just a lot to process because we're not on your level, so it just takes me a little bit to process. And you mentioned the last time you had a fun adventure in the Nine Hells, I believe.
Oh, yes.
Have you ever experienced between the planes?
No. That is a very strange place.
Interesting, isn't it?
I must contemplate that.
Well, while you contemplate it, do you have any like more standard weapons? Maybe something in the slashy department?
What kind of weapon are you looking for?
Something more in the sword format? Kind of longish, not too long, maybe just right.
So, as the DM, do you have martial weapon proficiency as a priest? What domain are you?
I have because of my high elf part of my half elf.
Ah, okay. So, are you looking for a short sword, a long sword, one-handed, two-handed?
Like a one-handed long sword, maybe something in the kind of special department.
I can
Not too
arrange
special.
that, yes. I could find you one of those. And he goes in the back, and you hear clatter, clank, clank. And he comes out with, he's kind of short, being, a goblin and everything. And so he comes out with a sword that's pretty much as tall as he is. It looks like a standard long sword, but it has some nice etching and scroll work on it. The handle's fine. And he says, "This has similar enchantments to Reginald's crossbow bolts."
Oh, that's exquisite.
Yes, and a steal at $700.
Oh, I wouldn't even try to quabble over that. That seems more than fair. Do you take plastic?
You want me to trade this fine piece of steel for some plastic?
Well, no, not plastic. I don't have cash on me.
Oh, I see. Well, you can ring it up upstairs next time.
Oh, I would, for that kind of generosity, be willing to chip in a little extra for your generosity.
Oh, very kind of you. But it wasn't so much generosity as the fact that if you try to stiff me, I will curse you.
I would never do such a thing.
And he
I enjoy you.
he holds the sword out to you.
Great. Before we leave, could I ask you one of your favorite types of questions? Can I ask you a hypothetical question?
Oh, I do like a hypothetical question, Reginald. You know that.
You are the only one of my friends that has dealt with interplanar travel. And I'm concerned that there are beings that live in between the planes, and I'm familiar with doors being opened. Greg, do you know how to close a door? Like if they were trying to come in, I mean, How does one close a door like that?
That is an interesting question. It is a metaphorical door, to be sure. It depends on how the door is opened. There are doors I certainly could close that were opened. But do you know how these hypothetical beings are coming in? Are they opening doors? Are they... I don't know.
They're establishing a connection with a being on the other side. It's almost like being locked in a prison cell, but having to whisper through the bars of the prison cell to someone on the other side in hopes that they can open the door for you.
And he goes over to his workbench and he picks up a pair of glasses and he puts them on. And he starts looking around the room. And he takes the glasses off and he says, I don't see anything here. So the fabric of reality seems to be intact, at least in my residence. But perhaps if you know of places where you think the fabric of reality might be weaker, I could certainly give it a look for you.
Would you mind heading over to the remnants of the Plaster Dragon when you have a second? And making sure that you don't see any breaches there?
I will go after I finish my pizza.
Thank you, Gray.
And he turns
You're
and he
a lady.
flips the lid open and yanks a piece of pizza out and begins chewing happily. He says, Zuki dear, thank you. And all of you, thank you.
You're welcome.
It is always a pleasure to have you in my home. Just remember to leave the back way.
Of course, Gray. Always.
Yes.
We leave the back way, but I got to circle around back to the front to go pay.
He did say next time.
Okay, next time.
And as you guys leave, he picks up his tea to take his Suki, you forgot your croissant.
Oh, I left that for you.
Oh, I will
You don't
be.
want it?
No, I will be too full after all of the pizza.
Oh, thank you. I grab the chocolate chip croissant and I eat it.
Because if there's one thing that's better than Zuki, it's Zuki hopped up on sugar.
As we're leaving, I say, guys, I'm going to need to do a pre-order for a week on pizza, and I have $13.50. So,
Don't look at me. I just spent $1,000 on pointy things, a ring, and some potions.
well, and to be fair,
I
that
reached into my
$13.50 I got from you from the, oh, you don't know. Never mind.
I reach into my pocket and see what I have available as far as
I mean,
cash goes.
you've got probably like 150 on you, but you have some in an account as well.
We can probably do a pre-order through some sort of like pizza shop, and we can even have it delivered for them.
And do you give as special
Like,
instructions, deliver it cold?
Yes, deliver it cold to the top of the shop, and then they can take care of getting it to Gray, I'm sure.
Excellent.
Hey,
I would hate
Rich.
to forget.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe you picked it up, maybe you didn't. But I mean, did you catch what Suki just said, or what she didn't just say?
What didn't she say?
She kind of trailed off and left something off at the end, like she was gonna say something but didn't say something.
Oh, no, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Interesting, Suki.
Okay, fine. The only $13.50 I have to my name was because I pocketed the other $13.50 after I got the flowers, which the winter court really, really liked. So they were good flowers. I just started with 20. They were cheap flowers. But the winter court liked them, so it was fine. That's all.
Interesting.
Zuki, my dear, it is money well spent. And do you know that every time you come to my house, you sleep in my lovely bed and don't shower before you do? And those are Egyptian cotton sheets? Do you know how much money I've spent over the years on you? and it is money well spent.
Because I just saved you $600 on magical items by providing the promise of pizza?
We have to work on your math, dear. Yes, sure. Yes, you saved me $600.
Okay, where are you guys off to?
It's not very exciting, but we're heading back to the church in the morning. I imagine we would go back to rest for one more long rest before we take on the forces of evil.
Okay. You guys are headed back from Gray's. And you probably hit the. Did you drive or take the metro, or the T?
Oh, what time of day is it?
Evening.
If it's after rush hour, we would have driven. But if it was around 5 or 6, we would have taken the metro.
Okay, so you have to walk back to the metro station. So you're going to be heading past Boston Common. Perception checks.
Everyone?
It's
20 not nat.
Nice.
19 from Keel.
Okay. Nicholas?
13.
13. Reg?
24.
Zephyr?
21.
Okay. Zuki, Reg, and Zephyr, as you guys are all headed toward the T station, you're just kind of doing your usual scanning of the area to see what's going on, because you've been on high alert for about a week now, given the recent events. And as you are scanning, something catches your eye. You see a woman wearing a fairly simple plain overcoat. What catches your attention, what catches your eye about her are two things. One, her head is shaved, and she seems to be intently following this group of 3 teenagers. Almost like she's stalking them.
The cult members that we've seen that blew up the building and blew up the bar, were they bald as well?
They were bald.
Hey, does everybody see this? This woman walking down this way, chasing after
I
these
see her.
teenagers?
I do.
Do now.
What woman?
Let's stop this. Yeah.
Okay. So what are you going to do?
I'm going to walk up to her and study her movements as I do.
Okay. You need a D20 roll for that, or is that just?
I need a deception check, and it's a contested check. So it's insightful fighting, insight versus.
Okay, what's your roll? Can't hear you.
15.
Okay. Her movements are fairly subtle and cagey. You're having trouble figuring her out. She seems skilled.
Is she within shouting distance?
Yeah.
Excuse me, free plastered dragon koozies for cult members trying to bring about the end of the world. You just seem like you'd be interested. Free plastered dragon koozies for cult members trying to bring about the end of the world. If you're bold, you get two plastered dragon koozies.
When you do this, the 3 teens look in your direction and then look at her, and they take off at a run. And you see her curse and start sprinting after them.
Let's do this, gang. And I immediately take off and start chasing her down. Yeah, let me know when I'm within shooting distance. I'll take a shot.
Okay, Keel, give me a wisdom save, please.
Oof. Not good. 13.
Keel, you come up short as they're running on ahead. As you see these figures in the crowd that were on the outskirts start to drift in behind your friends. They've managed to do it silently, and Nicholas, Zuki, Reginald, and Zephyr didn't see them, but you did because you hung back for a second. You just hesitated enough, almost as if some innate sense. And then the figures, there's 5 of them, they turn and they face you. And they have long black nails that look like they haven't been trimmed in weeks, and they're like, their skin is kind of rotting, but the worst part is their faces. They have these smiles painted on their faces, and they have like little decorations around their eyes, and it's all white face, and they have little false noses and sharp, jagged teeth, and there's like saliva dripping off of them as they like lean in and start leering at you.
How far away are these 5 figures?
They're closing in quickly.
Well, good night, everybody. I just want to say good night.
I love life. I love it. I want to die.
Where'd Reggie go?
We lost Reggie.
All right, seeing these 5 figures, Keel really he's frozen in fear. He doesn't know how to react right now.
Perception checks from the party. Not Keel, obviously.
15.
Okay.
17.
17.
12.
12. Nicolas.
23.
23. So, Reg and Nicholas, you notice that Keel is not still running with you, while Zuki and Zephyr keep running on ahead. You glance back just for a second to make sure everybody's together, and you see him just standing there frozen.
I start scanning the skies for any sort of black bird or animal that doesn't look like it belongs there.
Okay. You give me a perception check at advantage.
$27.
You spot a figure walking a dog that is not a dog. It's got extra legs, it's got a second jaw, 3 red eyes. You're not sure how nobody else has noticed this freakish dog.
Hey, Zuki,
Yes.
sick 'em. I'll take a shot at the dog.
Okay.
You think you pointed out to me as well?
Yeah.
Or are you still chasing the bald lady?
Everyone, bad dog. I think Keel's about to take a trip if he's not already taking a trip at the moment.
As soon as Reggie says sick 'em, I wild shape into a tiger so I can run and do my pouncy pounce thing.
Okay. Let's get some initiative going here. Including you, Keel.
Oh.
Zuki?
5.
5.
5.
Aw.
3 plus 2.
Okay, a 5 for Zuki. What else we got?
I had a poopy initiative. I was hoping Zuki did better than me. I got an 11.
11 for Reg. Zeph?
Reg did better than I did. 10.
Nick?
I have a total of 20.
Okay. And Keel?
It's 15.
Okay. Keel, I'm sorry, Nick, you're up first.
Okay, I'm going to toss a sacred flame in at the dog. And that is a dex save of 14.
Okay. The dog fails its save.
1d8. 7 radiant damage.
Okay.
And then I will also, as a bonus action, cast Spiritual Weapon, which is an attack roll.
Okay.
17. Does that hit?
That does hit.
9 force damage.
Okay. Okay, Keel. You look around to see what's going on, and you see your father somehow alive and walking his dog. And all of a sudden, flames erupt from your friend Nicholas's hand and torch your old pet dog from when you were a kid. And the clowns are still closing in. This is very, very weird and confusing. What do you do?
Where are the clowns positioned in between the group and then in between my dad?
There's space between the There's open space between the clowns and your dad, but the clowns are between you and your friends.
Okay. All right. I hate clowns. I hate clowns so much. But I've finally been able to compose myself a little bit, so I'm gonna point. Actually, yes. So I'm gonna point at 3 of them and cast Bane upon them.
Okay.
And so they need to make a Charisma saving throw, DC 13.
The clowns fail their charisma saves.
All right, and so whenever they fail those saves, when they make an attack or a saving throw, they must roll a d4 and subtract that number from the rolled die.
Correct. All right.
And
D4.
that is my turn.
Okay. That brings up Reg.
Reg is going to do another insightful fighting with his bonus action against the dog.
Okay.
So that is insight versus deception.
Okay.
You're not going to beat it unless you roll another nat 20 like me.
I'm not going to roll another nat 20 like you.
And then I'm going to fire a crossbow bolt at the dog. And as I do, I wanted to look over at Zuki and said, I've always been a cat person anyway.
Okay.
Oh, you have come up with catchphrases?
18 to hit.
Hits.
It's a bit poopy. It's 11 points of damage.
Was that including the +1 damage for the +1 bolt?
I'm not using those yet. I'm waiting
Okay.
until the big battle.
Very good. Keel, Reg just shot your dad in the leg. What the hell? Zephyr?
How far away is the running figure at this point?
Getting farther. Still, you can still see her.
But not within 30 feet or anything of that nature?
No, definitely not within 30 feet. You could fly after her if you wanted to try and keep track of her, or you could deal with the dog.
I'm going to go ahead and see if I can fly after her and keep track of her.
Okay. So, is that using your guitar?
Up and away in my beautiful... Yeah, using my guitar. My DOS.
Zephyr starts rocking out, and you see him lift off the ground and begin flying in the direction of the woman. All right. That brings up Zuki.
All right, so I'm going to do my run and pounce thing
Okay.
on that dog. So, so that has me moving more than 20 feet.
This does.
And I'm going to hit him with my claw, and he has to make a DC 13 strength save if I hit,
Yes.
and then he's prone. So that was a 16 to hit.
Okay. And he fails his strength save.
Okay, so my claw attack, that's a D8. So my, oh gosh, that was an 11.
Okay.
3. And then if he's prone, I get to bite him too. But that's another roll, I believe, right?
Yes.
I have to roll the hit again?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That was a 12.
That hits.
Ooh, it does. Okay. That's a 10. That's a 6 damage.
And the four of you, or the three of you, because Zephyr is moving in the other direction, see Zuki pounce on this dog, pinning it to the ground, and she just bites into its neck and tears it out. And the taste is awful. It's like all of the worst things you've ever tasted in your life mixed together in one, and you're like just spitting it out, and it begins dissipating in wisps of smoke. Keel, you see Zuki pounce as in tiger form on your dad and rip his throat out, and he's laying bleeding out on the ground, and then he disappears.
Okay.
And the clowns are also gone.
Keel's gonna just stand there in shock right now, and count to 10, and kind of let the panic fade best that he can.
Okay.
Are we out of combat? Are we
Yes.
still in initiative order?
We're out of combat.
Zuki, I think Zephyr is flying after that woman. Do you run?
Running.
Forrest, run.
And you can
running.
see him up in the air, so you can kind of follow. And you've chased
And
her.
I'm 40 feet, but dash action is double?
Yeah, so you
Is
go
that
80.
correct?
Yep.
Okay. So I am, however long it takes me to get to him, I'm just going to run after him.
Okay, and Zephyr, you see the woman chasing them, and they duck down an alley, and she turns down the alley and chases after them.
Okay, how if I caught up to her at all, or how close am I?
She's actually moving faster than you would have expected a woman of that size to move.
But could she beat my 120 dash flight?
She's actually keeping pace with you. Or you're keeping pace with her.
Okay, well,
Reg and Nick, what are you doing with the semi-catatonic Keel?
I will say, Nick, why don't you catch up with the group, and I will stay here with Keel and try to. I was the last person that went through this, and I might be able to help him out of it. But just in case the two of them get hurt, you can already be on the way.
So, Brian, with the knowledge of the area they're kind of cutting down, is there a back way that I can go rather than chasing the way they went? Maybe like go around the opposite direction?
How well do you know this area?
Where are we? I mean, personally or character-wise?
Character-wise.
I'm sure the character would have a decent understanding of the area. Are we next to like just the train station, or are we in a quad of a school or something?
You're near Boston Common, which is a big park in the heart of Boston on the Freedom Trail, and there are a lot of streets and side streets around here.
I feel like anybody from Boston would know the area really well.
Well, Nicholas, you didn't tell Brian this about your backstory, but you actually grew up really close to Boston Commons, right? Like you told me about that part of your.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I did miss
told
that.
everybody.
You're right. You're right. I
Should have
did miss
told
that.
everybody.
I will go ahead and give you a roll to see if you can find a shortcut. But it's going to have to be a really good roll.
Let me use the really good dice.
Because Zuki has a character feature that allows her to do this in this particular setting.
I was going to say, if he doesn't, then by, like, my urchin background gives me
Yep, it does.
city secrets and stuff.
So you actually catch up to Zephyr fairly quickly.
And you said what check was that again?
I just said give me a d20. I didn't say what check it was.
Yeah, good, because it's you're gonna be embarrassed to hear this number. 7.
Yeah, you don't know a shortcut.
Do I know a long cut?
No, you can take the regular cut actually, and you'll be fine.
Excellent.
All right, so you go chugging along after them, and Reg and Keel, you have your moment while the chase is on.
Yeah, I say, Keel, keep breathing. I can't imagine what you've seen if it's compared to anything that we've seen. But I know you. Someone's trying to bully you and trying to hurt your friends at the moment. So I need you to tap into the part of you that refuses to be bullied. Because of what little I've known of you, I know that of you. And more so than that, you are a protector and your friends are in danger. So channel that side of you and let's go kick this thing's ass.
Keel looks right in Reg's eyes. It wasn't real. I'm good. Let's go.
Good man.
All right, and the two of you take off. You guys turn the corner, Zuki and Zephyr. Zuki from the ground, Zephyr from the air, just in time to see the guys pull hand crossbows from inside their jackets. The teenagers, yeah, and they fire at the woman. Two sail wide, and the third one is coming straight at her, and she goes and knocks it out of the air. What do you do?
I would do my same run and pouncy thing, my tiger run and pounce.
And you're gonna pounce on
That
her.
I did
So you're gonna pounce on her.
Yes, on
Okay.
her.
All
It's a
right.
new band name, run and pouncing thing.
Give me a 2-hit roll.
That is a. Ooh, I've forgotten what that is. That's a 11.
So you go running at her and you leap. And in spite of the fact that you're behind her and you're being really quiet, at the last second she dodges to the side and you leap past her. Zephyr?
I'm actually landing down within 30 feet of her
Okay.
and start a song going at her.
Okay.
Baby, come back. I need you to come with me. There is something that I need to ask you. Boom, boom. Baby, come back. Come back to me peacefully. Hear my song. I'm gonna walk back with you. Casting suggestion on her.
Okay. And what is your suggestion that you want her to come over there?
She's coming back to me peacefully
Okay.
to
And
talk.
what is the save for that?
Wisdom 15.
Okay. Okay. So, her turn. She turns and looks at you and begins walking slowly toward you. And the three teens, seeing this, stash their crossbows and they take off.
And I, keeping concentration, I've got her, Zuki.
Okay, Zuki, what do you do?
Okay. I want to run after these guys and find out what's going on with them.
Do it. Live your truth. Do it. Either way, Brian's gonna love it. Do it.
This is true.
I know everybody else is just around the corner, right? They're coming after her.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna run. He's on her. I know they're headed in this direction. I'm gonna run and try to pin the closest teen, not to hurt him, but to just pin him.
Okay.
Like, because I can't talk to him and I don't want to lose my wild shape.
Okay.
So I want to just stop him.
Okay, go ahead. Give me a pounce attack.
And we've just been raided, Brian. Just make sure you know there.
Oh, cool.
That's a 12.
12. Okay. That misses.
Crap.
As he dodges to the side as you pounce. And they keep running. And let's see, on their turn, two of them keep running, and one of them pulls the crossbow and turns to take a shot at you, but he's running and shooting at the same time, and it flies wide. Zephyr, she's now walked over to you. Nicholas, you get there.
And I see that he's trying to control the one.
Yep.
Or that she's got the one kid.
Oh, no, she doesn't have any kid.
God is relative. I'm chasing after him.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll back up Zephyr.
Okay.
And what he needs. I mean, obviously she's walking back slowly, so I was like, "You got this? What's going on?"
And I just let him know I've got her under suggestion to come and answer questions for us peacefully.
And
Seems
she
fair.
she doesn't get another save until she doesn't get another save when the spell ends. It's what, a minute?
Course of action duration is 8 hours.
Oh, okay.
And no, I don't see any other saves.
Okay,
at
that's
that
fine.
point.
Okay, Zuki, your go again.
Okay, so I just tried to attack him, but I missed. So I'm gonna roll out of my wild shape, and while I'm doing that, is that an action coming out of wild shape?
No, it is not.
Okay, while I'm doing that, I'm casting Charm Person and saying, "Oh my gosh, I totally didn't realize that was you. Are you okay?"
Now,
Okay.
I would argue that she should have advantage on this roll because any teenage boy's weakness is a teenage girl.
It's like their kryptonite.
Okay, and well, she doesn't have to roll because it's a spell. He has to roll a save.
So he's
And-
at disadvantage.
He looks at her, and he looks at her and says, "Oh, it's you. I didn't realize." And then he takes a shot at you with his crossbow.
Me?
Yeah. He uses the he pretends to be charmed and uses the diversion to get a little closer, and you take 6 points of piercing damage.
How far away is she?
You can't see her; she's around a corner.
Oh, she's around the corner. Well, I was with Zephyr. They made it around the corner before they did.
Yeah,
Okay.
they took off while Zephyr has the girl.
Okay.
And now Reg and Keel, you have caught up as well.
All right. Where's Zuki?
She's around the corner. She followed these other guys.
All right, Reggie. Oh God, I need more cardio in my life, and he just keeps rounding around the corner. And so keep it here. Oh, look, you caught one. All right, I'm gonna go get her.
And Zuki, I need you to make a saving throw. Constitution.
Ooh, 19 plus 3, 22.
So you feel a burning from the point where the crossbow bolt stuck into your shoulder, and it starts to spread out, and you feel your muscles tighten. And as they're starting to tighten, you just dig deep, and you find that internal strength, and you just roar, and you just push the poison out. Still a little tiger left over, I guess.
Because I got the eye of the tiger.
Okay, and Zuki, it is your go.
Sorry. Shoot. Well, that didn't work. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the other guy. One of the other two that are there, because the other two are still there, right?
They're running. They're a bit further away.
They're still. Are they close enough? Are they within 30 feet?
Yes. Give me a
Oh God.
Give me-
God.
I'm like, why is he shooting at me, friend?
hang on. Give me a perception check before you do that.
Okay. Oh, that was a nat 20.
There's as you're studying them, because you're not sure why it didn't work on this guy. You're looking. There's a shimmering quality to these guys, almost
Oh, okay.
like this isn't their real
Like-
appearance, and you think you
This
catch
isn't gonna work.
a glimpse of pointed ears.
Oh, they're Fae. They can't be charmed. Crud. Okay, so yeah, I wouldn't do that again because I know that they can't be charmed. Okay. So, knowing that, I look at that first guy who just shot me, and I'm like, "Who are you?" And you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and hit him.
Okay.
Oh no, I'm gonna cast Hold Person on him instead.
Okay.
Level 2. So
What did you get? Read hold person really quickly. We'll zip back over to Zephyr because
target must succeed on a Wisdom saving throw or be paralyzed for the duration. At the end of each of its turns, the target can make another Wisdom saving throw. On a success, the spell ends on the target.
okay. Oh, he does
So-
not save, so he freezes in place. He was like just starting to pull out a blade of some sort, and he freezes mid-draw.
Okay, so I'm saying, who are you? I don't want to hurt you, but
Well, he can't talk. He's paralyzed, so
yeah, well,
I mean,
he can at least hear me.
yeah, you could like pick him up and carry him back or something. Okay, so Zephyr, you've got this woman still just kind of standing there passively in front of you. She says, "What do you want to know?"
So who are you, and why are you chasing those teens?
Teens? What teens? And
Those youth that you were following after.
those aren't teens. They're renegade fae, and my name is Narissa.
And who do you work with, Narissa? Why were you chasing them?
Because there's a bounty on their heads and I'm bringing them in?
Can I see the back of your neck?
That's an odd request.
I know. We're all friends here.
Are we? You just cost me a lot of money.
Well, we're here peacefully. Can I see the back of your neck?
I'm happy to answer your questions peacefully, but that doesn't make us friends.
So who's put out the bounty?
The bounty was put out by Ben. A lot of the guilds are picking up bounties.
And are they a bounty specifically for these three or for Fae in general?
These
Or
three.
What have they done?
They've been using magic publicly and enchanting people and generally trying to cause a ruckus, I suppose you would say. They've been manipulating the normals and generally tormenting and torturing them.
Am I getting any vibes off of her as far as lies or anything of that nature?
Go ahead and give me an insight check.
That would be 17 plus 5. That would be a 22.
Seems legit. She seems like she's on the level. She's trying to cooperate and answer your questions peacefully. Meantime, Reg, Keel, and Nick, what are you guys doing?
Reginald comes tearing around the corner and probably gets to Zuki and sees her standing there with a teenage boy who's holding a sword or a knife in his hand.
Not holding yet. He's starting to draw.
He was starting to draw. And I was like, all right, can you introduce me to who your friend is? Who is this?
They're elves, and they were trying to shoot me. Well, one of them was trying to shoot me. The other two are running that way, but he's paralyzed, and he can't really talk back right now, but he could probably talk when he's unparalyzed.
And you see Zuki has a crossbow bolt in her shoulder.
Yeah, and
Fired that at you? You got shot. Who
I
did
did.
that?
It hurts. It really, really hurts, but right now I'm going to focus on this.
Okay. Well, should I chase after them then, or should we just question this moron?
Well, I suppose we could stand around and talk about it all day. What are you going to do?
How about you drop the spell, dingus, and we can talk to this guy?
All right. Do you want to like tie him up or something before I drop the spell? I mean, I'm no expert on this, but it just seems like.
At this point, Keel rounds the corner.
Yep, and you see them both standing, having a discussion around a clearly paralyzed teen boy, who looks like he has his hand on the hilt of a sword of some kind.
What's his story?
He's an elf. He shot Zuki. Zuki's being a dingus. Keel, he's actually an elf. Would you punch him, please, in the face as hard as you can?
Do we want him unconscious or just tied up?
No, I just want him tied up so we can speak to him.
Ooh, so you're gonna tie him up by punching him in the face. Good job.
You know what? You got shot in the shoulder. I'm done. I'm so
You're
done.
really hurt, so maybe I'm a little cranky. Can somebody tie him up, please?
Keel pulls a pair of handcuffs that he had from Police Academy and cuffs the guy.
There you go.
All right, I release hold person.
Tie him up. What is this, a fantasy game? Are we living in fantasy times? Oh, look, we'll tie him up with rope and we could just use handcuffs. Work smarter, not harder.
All right.
I'm sorry, I don't carry around handcuffs with me wherever I go. Do you want to share something with us, Reggie?
You're too young enough to understand.
I yell back from me and Zephyr, hey, we got another one back here!
All right. So do you drop the spell so that he can be moved?
Yes, I dropped hold person.
Okay.
Instinctively, Keel begins to spat off the Miranda rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be... Forgot. Sorry. Old habits die hard.
And the teen trying to
Nice.
play up the teen thing says, "You're assaulting a kid here. You're going to jail, mister."
Oh, come on, we know you're an elf.
You're the one brandishing weapons.
His shoulders sag. He's like, "Fine, fine, you got me. Take me away, officer."
Okay, knowing the others have gone up around the corner, I turn to the one I have and say, walk with me.
With what I know about elves, can I tell if he's a summer or a winter?
Not through the illusion. It's hard to tell for sure. If you got a really good insight, I would probably let you.
14 plus 7, 21.
He's a winter.
Okay. Then I look at him. Oh, I don't have half of my notes with me because I'm in California. I say, I know Lady Goldarock, and you will answer these questions.
His eyes go a little wide.
All right, guys, ask him some questions.
Wow. Wow. Yes. Thank you. Oh, great and powerful leader. Why were you being chased? Kid, you're not really a kid. What is going on? Why in the world is that woman chasing you?
Well, I'm sure she can understand. When you're different, they hunt you.
What do you mean when you're different? When you're an elf?
You know the magical world. I can sense it all over you. And she's not fully human, and she knows Guldurak, so... Let's not play games, shall we?
I want to go back and turn the corner. And
Okay.
Are they coming around the corner? Are Zephyr and this woman coming around the corner?
Yes.
With a closer view, do I recognize this woman?
No.
All right, so who the bloody hell are you?
Didn't we just cover this around the corner? Can I take my prisoner now? Thank you for at least stopping one of them.
Not so
Oh.
quick. Let's clear the air here. And this is Nerys. I can't remember the name.
Nerissa?
Narissa. Thank you, Narissa. She claims to be a bounty hunter working with Ben.
Not working with Ben. They put out the bounty. They're going to give me the money. I don't care
Yes,
about them.
Sounds like a collaborative effort.
Do you see them here helping me?
Anyways, she claims to be a bounty hunter.
Oh, she's a bounty hunter. This is a legit sanctioned hunt. Well, take them away. No. Yeah, take your handcuffs off. You want to keep those, right? Let's just give her the elf.
I look at him, I'm like, do you have any reason for us to not give you to her? Why is she chasing you?
Elf persecution. It is a tale far, far older than any of us.
Cut the crap. Why is she chasing you?
My friends and I may have been causing a bit of trouble. Nothing serious.
And?
Just playing some games with the mortals.
Like what?
The odd charm spell and illusion here or there. Nothing serious or harmful.
So should I just call Lady Goldurak and let her know that you're here and that you need to be picked up?
Oh, that's not necessary. I appreciate the assistance, but I'll manage fine on my own.
Happy to do that. We could probably arrange that. Because it seems to me that if you're messing with people, you should probably be going with her. And I point to whatever her name is.
Narissa?
Or,
Narissa.
yeah. Or, because we all can't remember her name. Or perhaps I should be calling your lady to come get you so that you can figure out how you are supposed to interact with the people around here.
Narissa looks at you and says, "That's not on the table."
Well, maybe for you it isn't, but you're not in charge of me.
You got a frog in your throat there.
Yeah. It starts over here, that's where it's coming from. It's weird. It's like over there, not so much here or here, but right over there.
If you're asking me if I would rather deal with Lady Goldurak or Ben, I will take Goldurak 100 times out of 10. Thank you. If you wish to call her, I would be all too happy to join.
Zuki looks over at everyone else questioningly.
I think if this is a sanctioned hunt, I just think we need to verify that in the first place. And if so, we hand him over.
Narissa, you got the bounty papers?
She pulls out her cell phone,
Take a quick
clicks
look at it,
over,
make sure.
and with your experience and with Ben, you can see that this is legit. He doesn't look exactly like the person in the picture, but because of the illusion magic that's going on, it seems plausible to you that that this could very well be the guy that she's chasing after. And there are 3 of them pictured, and she was chasing 3 guys, and teenagers don't normally have hand crossbows and long swords, so...
Zuki, I don't think this is a matter of the Winter Court anymore. They broke the rules, regardless of where they're from, who they are, and they do need to answer to the authorities. And in this case, it's Ben.
And Narissa says, "Ask the people in the hospital whether it was harmless fun."
And I asked Narissa, do you have restraints?
Of course. And she pulls some
ahead.
cuffs off her belt.
Feel free to put the restraints on your man.
And she looks at Zuki and says, "You don't mind, do you?"
I look over at him and I say, I would be happy to let Lady Goldurak know where you are. Can I have your name?
That would be delightful. I am Alwyn. I am not yet old enough to have other names.
Who were your friends?
I am sorry, but they got away. I am not going to rat them out.
All right.
I have one final question before we leave this. Narissa, is there a reason you don't use rope to tie him up? That you use cuffs? Is that a common thing? I didn't know if that was something you always do.
I have rope with me, but that would be if I was going to bind all three of them. But for one, cuffs are much easier. For three, rope, because you can tie them together, it makes it harder for them to get away.
Yeah, smart, very smart. Well, I think we're done here.
Well, I'm not entirely sure we are. Because I still have some questions for you.
One second, Naomi. Naomi, 1 second. I have a couple questions, if you don't mind.
Well, I was about to ask you questions, so clearly I do mind.
Yeah, that seems inconsequential at this point, because I think I know what you were going to ask. But with these two questions, I'm pretty sure I can solve the whole thing.
All right, you've piqued my interest.
You're here on a job, right?
I believe we've established that, yes.
You do lots of jobs, right?
I believe that is the description of a bounty hunter.
But you're really good at your job, right?
I like to think so.
So, in the past few months or so, anything weird going on that you know of?
There's been increased activity for certain.
What kind of activity?
Well, increased planar crossover for sure. A lot more elves are coming through, some dwarves, some goblins. Seen a couple of...
Anything not so other planelate that you come across?
Not so far. I mean, that's mostly where I do my work. I mean, if I'd wanted to do the other world stuff, I would have stuck with the other order.
What other order?
Well, the monks. I mean, obviously I'm a monk, and
clearly, that we got from like 20 minutes ago.
Wait, hang on. Bad actors like Nicolas Cage, or bad actors that like people that act bad?
people who act poorly.
That's Nicolas Cage.
People who are up to no good. That is what we go after. And we don't, like I said, we don't take every bounty Ben throws our way. There are legitimately persecuted non-humans. And I'll have no part of that.
Is she covered in tattoos, Brian?
She is not covered in tattoos. You don't see any tattoos on her.
All right.
Oh, go ahead.
She says, but that's why I didn't want to join. That's why I didn't want any part of that other order. Their mission it didn't interest me.
What other order?
The Order of the Plastered Dragon. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session. That's the reaction I was going for. Ladies and gentlemen out there, thanks. Yeah. That's where we're going to end tonight with the strange monk who didn't want to be a part of the Order of the Plastered Dragon. And thank you all for tuning in. We'll see if the title of this changes from Holy Shit to something else based on what we did tonight.
Holy shit, I can't believe it's over.
Hop over to the Discord. Some of the cast will be in a chat channel briefly to chat with you. I know that Callie and Drunk Dragon probably can't stay very long. They've been on a plane all day. They left Florida, 15 hours ago?
A lot of hours. Yeah, sure.
And
many.
And they're in San Diego, so they desperately need tacos. Also, a reminder to all of you, when we reach 100 followers, which we're getting close to, we're at 77 right now. When we reach 100 followers, I will be giving away this cool coin on the stream after that. It is a cool die rolling coin that can do D4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and 20. And you can also use it in a different game system as well. There's a little QR code that you can see inside to use that. Remember, tomorrow, Dragon Slayer's Fiasco, Saturday, Drunken Dread, and then next Monday, back around to Chosen Family again. Thank you all for watching, and keep having a fun time out there playing your games. We love you.